This is a short presentation about the reflective journal on the TELEDA course. It aims to explain why the course includes journals and the purpose of reflection in terms of learning development. The first reason for the journal is to keep an ongoing record of your learning. TELEDA is activity-based, it's interactive and it's busy, so it can help enormously to keep a record of each week's activities. The journal should record what you did, how you felt it went, or if there was anything you could apply to your own teaching practice. And it might be that you felt something went badly wrong, which is equally valuable because discovering what doesn't work online can be as useful as seeing as what does work. The second reason is the portfolio for the TELEDA assessment, which comes at the end of the course. This will be a narrative of your TELEDA journey, and it will include selections of evidence showing how you've met the learning outcomes and samples of reflection which are all collected together for sharing. So having the journal to look back on will be a useful reminder of everything that you've done. And another reason is reflective writing can result in different ways of seeing and understanding your learning and teaching experiences. And this is where I think reflection is a bit like alchemy. The alchemists of medieval times wanted to turn base metal into gold, and the ordinary base metal process of recording events can actually produce really valuable insights into your own practice, which you might not have expected or seen in any other way. And this is the higher level of reflection, which is sometimes called a deeper approach to learning, and we get there by applying critical thinking and asking questions. And being critical can also cause confusion, because it doesn't mean criticising, but asking questions like why, where, when, what, and how. For example, you might write a few lines describing what was the problem and how you set out to solve it, and where and when this happened, how did it go, how did you feel, why was this, and what would you do differently next time. Critical thinking questions like these help us move from plain description to a more critical reflection, which nearly always results in additional insight into the original problem, or helps identify the cause of something which maybe isn't working as well as we might want it to. This is the Gibbs model of reflection. It's a circular process with similarities to Kolb's experiential learning cycle on which TELEDA is based. And for anyone new to reflection, this can be a useful sequence to follow. So you'd begin by describing the event and say how you felt about it, what went well and what went less well, how was this useful, what did you learn from it, and what would you do differently next time. And you can see how the critical questions fit into the reflective process. And as well as Gibbs, Jenny Moon has also written about the role of reflection in higher education, and links to these papers can also be found on the TELEDA site. And as well as Gibbs and Moon, there's also Stephen Brookfield's work on becoming a critically reflective teacher. And Brookfield suggests 4 ways to review your practice: writing your own description of an event, reflecting on feedback from students, reflecting on feedback from colleagues, and looking to the published literature, in particular to examine styles of reflective writing in the academic public domain. Also, there's value in putting yourself out there. Reflective blogs are good for this, and while I wouldn't suggest that you throw a mass of unedited reflective ramblings into the blogosphere, they're a useful discipline for picking out and highlighting specific reflective insights. And lastly, I want to offer an activity. This is the reflective button activity. So pick a button, choose one which appeals to you, and don't think too much about it for the moment. Just look at all of them and select one. Now, write down the reasons why you chose your button. Write in the first person, like, I chose this button because, And writing in the first person can also feel strange if you're not used to it, so this activity can help overcome some of that strangeness. So what did you write? Did anything interesting come up which surprised you? The aim of this activity is to wake up the part of your brain which is good at finding links between what seem to be unrelated subjects. And you could always try this again in your own time, or maybe even adapt it to try with your students. And the idea came from Kelly Sisson, who works in Edu with me, and Kelly uses a jar of buttons for her students, so it's more tactile, but I thought I'd try adapting it for use online. And the button activity brings us to the end of this short little presentation on reflection. I thought I'd finish with these two quotes from John Cowan's book on becoming an innovative university teacher, which is all about supporting reflection in action across a range of subject disciplines, and it's available in the university library. And I think these quotes show the strangeness of reflection to those new to the practice, and also how it needs to become habitual. Reflective practice is experiential. The more you get into a routine with keeping your reflective journal up to date, then the more of a useful learning development tool it will become. And this is the end. As always, if you have any questions or comments, please do get in touch and let me know.